This is SOUQ Business Landscape.
The Nigerian Railway Corporation has confirmed the derailment of the Warri Itakpe train, bringing rail services along the corridor to an immediate halt just 4 days after operations resumed. The incident was announced in a statement released by the Nigerian Railway Corporation on Sunday. Prior to this derailment, the Railway Corporation had suspended Warri Itakpe service on August the 2nd following repeated breakdowns and technical issues. The service briefly resumed before the derailment occurred, adding to recent concerns about rail safety in the country, including the Kaduna-Abuja accident on August 26. The Warri Itakpe route, covering approximately 350 kilometers, is currently the longest of Nigeria's 3 modern train lines, alongside the Lagos-Ibadan and Abuja-Kaduna services. The corporation has yet to disclose the cause of the derailment or whether there were any casualties, while investigations and safety checks are expected to follow before service can resume. I remember vividly, Olumi, they were on this table having this conversation when we heard that the Nigerian Railway Corporation is going to be opening the Warri Itakpe rail corridor,
yes.
That it has remained closed down for quite a specific period of time. I think from the month of August down to October, late October, we're told it will be taken off, and this is early, just early November, and it has derailed. And I was wondering what was actually fixed before. Yes, I know it's of course, we cannot completely tell where the fault is going to come from, but it borders a lot. I'm beginning to picture, before the conversation, I was beginning to ask the question, that of Lagos, if we've heard anything about that of the derailment in Lagos, or we've heard anything about some of this incident that is peculiar, or is it peculiar to those part of town in the north or in the southern part of the country? Is it not the same contractor?
I don't want to place it on contractor, because if you look at Lagos, the structure of Lagos, the rails are so, they are constructed, it runs along the metropolitan areas of Lagos, so it's easy, it's visible, people can actually see it. Unlike the Lagos to Ibadan that runs through forest, bushes, and all that, so, and gives room for vandalism.
Can tamper it.
Yes. Yeah. You know, so, but the main question now is, we were on this table when we were talking about solutions to the derailment of the Abuja, Kaduna this thing. And we talked about installing monitors, CCTVs, drones, and all that. And I think this, until you can't get a different approach if you keep doing the same thing. That's the truth about it. Until we take this thing seriously, that, okay, we want our rail systems to work. Rail systems have been working in Europe since 19 or something, I mean, and it's still working. But Nigeria here, we've tried and tried and tried. I mean, it's quite sad that we can't get this thing right, because it's simple. Track it. Put a tracking system to monitor the rail lines. Drones, fly drones. Probably you could do it in the morning or in the evening, twice a day or 3 times a day. Fly drones to monitor these things. Then also, we've also talked about sense of ownership. We cannot deny that fact, that until people see these rail lines still are rail, or any government infrastructure as our own. Some people actually might just say, it's federal government's thing, so what's my own business? But until we start to see it as our own, because whether we like it or not, there are people who perpetrate these acts. And until we start to say that, oh, this thing is our own, this infrastructure is our own, we need to report any suspicious movement, report any suspicious act that you see around the rail. People will now start to see it as, okay, this is our own thing. We can actually, build it. And because this is a business venture. This is supposed to provide freight. This is supposed to provide a whole lot of goods, transportation of a whole lot of goods, transportation of passengers. Rail train is actually one of the safest means of transportation. And it's supposed to actually ease traffic. Because imagine if I don't have to, imagine if I'm working in Lagos, I live in maybe Ogun State or in Akure, and all I have to do is just take a 1 hour or 2 hour train from 6 a.m. and by 8 a.m. I'm in the office. And by 4 a.m. I close, I'm back home.
Oh, they do that very well in Lagos. Even in Lagos, from Festac, the rail that runs from Festac Mile 2 down to Broad Street, Marina. And we've seen a lot of, including some of our staff, do use those services. Yes.
So and this also damages public's confidence, because whether we like it or not, until we start to take these things, you mentioned something that the coaches that were bought, were they gotten from a different place? Is it Lagos that is
contractors
getting or something? Well, these governors they are friends with Sanwo-Olu now. So you can actually call someone that Sanwo-Olu, where did you get those coaches? Please introduce us. Who comes up with?
Say that they could say these are federal government projects, and the government must have been responsible for procuring this, and probably from the same contractor, or from if there were different sources. But I'm
why is it that Lagos is getting it right, but NRC is not getting it?
Okay, Lagos seems to be getting it right. Let me come to Toby from a business perspective. Every derailment reduces investor confidence in the logistic infrastructure, like you rightly said. It also increases cargo insurance and affect supply chain credibility. Now, the southern part of the country, the Warri Itakpe rail corridor, was supposed to provide economic activity to ferry goods from that part to the northern part of the country as well. If we're experiencing this sort of bottleneck and derailment or deficiency, I'm beginning to wonder, to think of the economic value that is being eroded daily, and how this in itself is going to impact the economy of those zones.
Yeah, so I saw a very interesting post by someone online talking about how potholes affect the economy, as little as a pothole on the road. Yeah, because economy is it's a very fragile substance. Everything affects it. So when you have issues like your rails that are supposed to cargo goods timely to a particular destination, going or being derailed or being they have certain disturbances on the way, then you realize that there's more to what we need to do, just like Olumide said. Now, this is supposed to bring in job creation. If you travel abroad, you see, I had friends at the time when I was abroad, you see, should we call them maybe rail officers? They just patrol, around. Because, again, very insightful statements. Ownership. Nigerians need to see ownership in this sense. When you start to see ownership in this sense, then you understand how it affects you personally. Why remove certain materials from this rail? Because at the end of the day, it affects you, affects your business, affects you, the common man going to buy what is being shipped from Lagos down to Edo State. Yeah. And if you don't, so there's some goods that are coming all the way from Lagos or from any part of the country to wherever you are that are very timely. Maybe it could be medical equipment for certain surgeries. It could be materials for building. And once these things start to have effect on your time, because time is money, it starts to affect your time. The time starts to affect your the project frame of your business. Then it affects how much you generate over time in a month. And of course, it goes back to the government, because if you don't generate enough money as a business person, then the government does not have enough to tax you on. You understand what I'm saying? So it ends up at a bigger picture as to why we need to take ownership. You take ownership of these things, then it flows. There's a peaceful flow in the economy to wherever you are. You start to see the positive insight of having this rail work or function properly. Once the trains start to go off the rail, and then they have to take hours, days to fix these things, there's a negative effect on the economy, one way or the other, because time is money.
Great. And I'm beginning to think about this, Olumide. Derailment. I think it has become one too many. One too many in the sense that it happened in Abuja, Kaduna. And it's happening in just the recent one, Warri, Itakpe. So how can we get this right? I know the Nigerian Railway Corporation has not completely come out to say this was actually what's responsible for the derailment. Neither have they told us the casualty, if there was any. But the people are just looking forward to these conversations with the relevant authorities, and like, we want to earn your trust. We want to make sure that tomorrow you say it has been restored. We want to be very, very confident in resorting to taking, that facility, to use the services of that facility. So what does it hold? How do we begin to hold them responsible? The way the Nigerian Railway Corporation or the contractor themselves, that from whom we bought these facilities.
I think we need to start to take our maintenance quality control serious. Now, either you're going to, which will also create room for job creation, whether you have to hire engineers, technicians who would run some routine maintenance, or you partner, of course, with a rail maintenance firm, just like Tantinta Service, what they are doing right now. Partner with a rail maintenance firm that would oversee the maintenance, the security, the monitoring of these tracks, install things like sensors, AI-based rail monitoring systems, to monitor these things, run routine checkups.
These are quite capital-intensive projects.
Increase the budget.
Increase the budget would mean increasing the fare of the rail services themselves, that the people,
if you really want to
in itself is going to actually affect the economy. Okay. In the sense that...
Now, let's look at it another way.
No, I'm not saying we should not do that, but when that is done, when that is done, is it that we cry foul or we raise our voices that it's quite expensive, it is too expensive, what can they do about it? But we also know that this recurrent, disruption of economic activity affecting the facility themselves is going to require money to fix it.
We'd run routine checks on our bridges.
Yes.
From time to time, you hear the report that, we are doing some routine checks, we are fixing a part of the bridge. Why can't we also replicate that with the rail system? There's a budget for that. There has always been a budget for the bridges. Yes. We run it, I think, every 6 months or thereabout. So, of course, you build something, you are supposed to, every organization have maintenance culture. You must maintain, especially this equipment, you must maintain it. Because you have to tackle vandalism, you have to tackle poor quality materials. You have to tackle a whole lot of things. So maintenance has to be included. You have to either hire a firm or... I was even going into insurance of cargoes, but that would also mean capital. So now, imagine I'm sending goods from probably Kaduna to Lagos or somewhere. I might basically want to insure, I might basically not want to insure it because I believe, train is supposed to be the safest. I mean, what could happen? But it happened, and I did not insure it. That's a loss on my own part. Yeah. Do you think I would want to patronize the train system again?
Just a bit on what Olumide just said. It's very important, and we need to start focusing on insurance in Nigeria as a country. We need to start going deep into it. You go to the working countries now, or European countries. You don't take any transportation system without the option of an insurance there. You could call it, should I say, what's the word when you're trying to stay off trouble? It's off my head. Yeah, just an insurance in there, and then you have different options depending on the quality of insurance you're going to get from different. It also gives room for private sectors to come in and get involved in this system, because at the end of the day, maintenance is cheap or cheaper than destruction. Because once these things are destroyed, you spend more money because you have to start all over again. But with maintenance, time to time, you just check: are you putting in oil? Are you changing a particular rim? All these things, they are cheaper compared to when they are being vandalized, like Olumide said. And you put in manpower in the sense, now, we're talking about drones and all of that. These are high-techs. I don't want to give room to excuse or pamper the government. Let's go all out. You said so. You talked about people may not be able to what's the word?
It's going to increase the cost of doing business for the
at some point.
Remember when Nigerians start crying out that do I need to pay 5,000 naira or do I need to pay 15 20,000 naira from, I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying that that's actually what the Nigerian Railway Corporation would charge. From Warri, if you are going to Port Harcourt, or from Warri, you are going to some estate in the southeastern part of the country that might equally link from the southeastern part of the country to the northern part of the country and all of that. If we start looking at the cost, it's going to affect these cargoes. It's also going to affect the insurance that we are talking about. And if it affects the cargoes, it also increase the cost of doing business. But you are talking about value, yes?
Yes, value. Value is very important. If you, there's no part of the country that you go, or the world you go to rather, that you see when people spend money. When I spend my money, I want to get the value for money spent. You understand? One of the problems we're having right now, one of the issues why we shout is because the little we are giving or the little we are paying. I don't want to even say little. The what we are paying, we're not seeing value for it. So if I'm getting my goods all the way from Lagos to Ebonyi or to Jos, I want to be rest assured that my goods are going to get there in one piece, and there won't be any issues with regards to bandits, criminals just stopping the rail or just going to steal my stuff because I've put it in the right hands of insurance or the rail company. So let's stop using this. Oh, we won't be able to pay it. We'll pay the money, but give us value.
Okay.
And we're still going towards bullet train. So how can if we cannot maintain this, how do we expect to maintain running a bullet train, which will be powered by electricity?
Okay. I want to think that whilst you are looking at me asking that question, indirectly you are referring to.
Of course.
But I'm beginning to see the Ministry of Transportation has a whole lot of work to do. And the Ministry of Transportation, in extension, the Minister of Transportation has played a very, very critical role because it serves, it's the nexus, the connecting point where all the economic zones, the economic activities taking place in the southern part of the country, the economic activities taking place in the northern part of the country where they all meet. And if we do not have an efficient and effective transportation system by rail, by road, by air to move around, in this specific case by rail, to move around for the purpose of quick delivery of industrial goods, some of which Toby has referenced, to move industrial goods or to move equipment that is required for factories over there in the north to use for the purpose of production, most especially if they are being shipped into the country to Lagos, or probably it is being shipped into the country to the Niger Delta in Rivers State or in Bayelsa State or in Delta State, so that they can, offload these goods, take them straight to the rail facility and upload them. And in no time, they're in the northern part of the country, they're in the southeastern part of the country, and we start having industrialization and the boom of it going to every nook and cranny of Nigeria. But without the effective functioning of this facility, it's going to draw us back. Yes. And we don't want to experience that if we are to, meet the $1 trillion economy. As for me, I think we're already doing a $1 trillion economy. I think Mr. President should be telling us about, $2 trillion economy.
Baby
because
steps.
It's
Baby steps.
Baby steps notwithstanding, I think we're already doing more than $1 trillion economy. Now, it's not that the administration is not, that it needs to do more for us to attain that.